Good morning, students. How are you all? So, today we start our class with a very interesting chapter Footprints Without Feet. So, you have to be confused in that where is the chapter 3 and chapter 4. So, the chapter 3 and chapter 4 was deleted for this session for the examination purpose. So, we are reading that chapter afterwards sometime. Today, I will start with the Footprint Without Feet. It is written by H. G. Wells. So first of all, introduction of the author. H. G. Wells, Herbert George Wells, was born 21st September 1866, Bromley, England, UK. He was died on 13th August 1946. Um, Wells became an overnight literary sensation with the publication of the novel The Time Machine. The book was about an English scientist who develops a time travel machine. He published The Island of a Doctor's Moreau, The Invisible Man in 1897, The War of the World in 1898. The Island of the Dr. Moreau told the story of a man who encounters a scientist conducting the gruesome experiments on animals, creating new species of creatures. So before we proceed the chapter, we can a man become? We have to be arise some questions. Can a man become invisible? Can anything can become invisible? This is the story about a scientist who discovered the formula to be um, invisible, but he was not using that formula for the mankind. He was using that formula for himself only, not for self, but he was doing some crime with the help of that formula when he got invisible. So, the story is about that character. His name was Griffin here. He is the main character in this story. He is described to be the Abnell College student who has majored in the physics and the medicine. During his experiments, he came across the formulas that cause himself to turn invisible. He ends up becoming the burglar in the story. The theme of the story, the story Footprints Without Feet, describes the story of a brilliant scientist. Your book name is also a footprint. है ना? So that is the same. Griffin, who degenerate himself into the lawless person. Griffin discovered that the human body could become transparent and invisible. He misused it to the threaten, trouble the beat innocent person, and rob them. He started this thing happened with his father. What happened? His father brings some money to give someone else to whom he has taken the loan, but Griffin has stolen that money. So his father just suicide himself because he know that my son has done this thing, but how can I face the person to whom I have to give the money? So Griffin have to move away from his house. Then what happened? The two boys saw the fresh footprint. The story starts in your chapter starts from here. The two boys saw the fresh footprints of an invisible man in the street of London. His footprints were in the lawless and the scientist's name Griffin. So this thing happened. He discovered a rare drug which could make him invisible. His landlord disliked him and tried to reject him. In revenge, Griffin set fire to the house. He swallowed drugs and removed his clothes to become invisible. He was a homeless wandered until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. He escaped easily enough from the boys who followed the footprint. So here what happened? Actually, Griffin was a brilliant scientist. He carried an experiment for the years to prove human body could be become invisible. So what happened? He was just living when he left from his father's house. He was just take a room on the rent, but the landlord lady was know that he was make us suspicions of the to on the Griffin. She doesn't like that Griffin. So again and again, she wants that he have to leave the room. So one day, what happened? The landlord lady's cat was coming to the Griffin's room, and Griffin doesn't like that cat at all. So he murdered the cat. He murdered the cat, and that is why what happened. That lady had just know that he has murdered my cat, and like that, she was just making a sound of that. She was cried on like that. So in that hurry, what he had done, he swallowed a certain rare drug and become invisible person. And what he had done, he had just set the fire in her house. He had and just remove all his clothes. No, what happened? He had not murdered the cat. He had just to give the medicine of invisibility to the cat. So cat was not visible, but she's making sound. So that lady was just searching her cat. So this happened, and she said that that scientist, that Griffin, had done something. So in that hurry, he had just swallowed the medicine. Sorry for that. He had the quarrel with his landlord lady and revenge to set fire to her house. He removed his clothes and became invisible and got away without being seen from there. He began to wander about the street of the London without clothes, because without money and invisible. But he had happened to be some mud. As a result, his footprints were left behind as he walked. Two boys were fascinated by the footprints without feet. They followed the footmarks, however, the griffin easily dodged them. So this will happen there. He slipped inside the big London store for the warmth. He fitted himself out of the warm clothes soon with the shoes and the overcoat and the wide-brimmed hat. He became a fully dressed and visible person. In the kitchen of the restaurant, he enjoyed the meal. He fell asleep of the pile of quills. He woke up late in the morning. The store attendants gave him a chase, but he made himself free by removing all his clothes. So it was the midwinter at that time. The air was bitterly cold, and he was without clothes. When the cold became unbearable, he slipped into a big London store. When the store was closed, he broke open boxes and found warm clothes for himself. On the wearing them, he became a visible person. He found cold meat and coffee in the kitchen. Then he took sweets and wine. At least he slept on the piles of quilts. When he woke up in the next morning, the assistant had already arrived. They got nervous and began to run. The attendant chased him. Then he just quickly took off his clothes, become invisible, and escaped from there. So this time he entered to the. So this is the incident happened with him. Next, what he had done, then he entered the theatrical company, where the dress up again the looted someone money from the shopkeeper. He wanted to live freely without any disturbance, so he caught the train to the Iping village and hired a room at the inn. So what happened? Then he thought about that he have to wear the cloth with the bitter cold is there. So he was just thinking about to wear the cloth. This time he entered to the theater company. He made his way up his chair. Nobody would see him because he was invisible. A little later, when he come out, he was wearing bandages around his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, big bushy uh, six whiskies, and a large hat. He attacked the shopkeeper for the behind and robbed him, and he made him confined. So then what he had done, Griffin was eager to get away from the crowded London. He went to the village Iping. Iping is a very small village in the winter season. No one is going there, so that is why he chose that place because he want to be hide himself there.